Hello everyone, my name is Time, and as school is starting and I have another video planned, I think it's a good time to release this video that I have been working on since July 3rd. Right now it's September 13th. So yeah, a little bit about the video before we start. This video is going to be roughly 1 hour long, so I decided to publish an audio only version as like a podcast so you can listen to it with the screen off on SoundCloud. So link to it will be in the description. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video where I gathered a few of my friends who applied to US colleges from an international pool to talk about their college stat and their portfolio, what get them into their dream schools. Question list and timestamp will be down in the description below, so you can check them out and click to skip to certain questions that you would like to watch specifically. And without further ado, let's start the video. Can you please introduce yourself, your name, your high school, and your university? Hi, my name is Nirutti Charupaisankit. My nickname is Time. I graduated from Montawan Demonstration School, going to Columbia University, class of 2024.
Hi, my name is Panwa Promtep. I studied at Montawan Demonstration School, and I'm currently on a gap year, and I'll be studying at Johns Hopkins University. Majoring in chemical and biomolecular engineering.
Hi, my name is Champ. I went to Panwa High School, which is a relatively small, non-international private school in Bangkok. To frame how new my school is, the size of my graduating class is around 30 people, which is sort of ridiculously small. And I am the fourth graduating class from my high school. I got an early decision to Cornell University.
Hi, my name is Naenae, Montawan, Chairatchaneeboon. I graduated from International School Bangkok class of 2020, and I was admitted to the University of Pennsylvania class of 2024, but I deferred my admission to class of 2025.
Hi everyone, my name is Fresh. I'm from Bangkok, Thailand. I went to Bangkok Patna School, and I'm currently headed to study at Harvard University.
Okay, hi, I'm Schwinn. I'm an incoming freshman at Stanford, but I'm gap yearing. So I'm going next year. I'm planning to study in mathematical computer science, and I came from NIS, which is a high school here in Bangkok.
Hi, my name is Derya. I'm currently attending Shrewsbury International School in Bangkok, and I'm going to be possibly an econ major at the University of Pennsylvania.
Hi, my name is Karuna, and I recently graduated from Shrewsbury International School in Bangkok, Thailand, and I will be attending Stanford University this fall.
What was your GPA and what classes did you take? And also, what kind of curriculum was your high school? My GPA is 3.89 out of 4. I study under the Thai curriculum. So that means that the required subject ranges from math science to English to Thai arts to health education in the science math track. So that means that rather than having more social classes and more language classes, my science split into biology, physics, and chemistry.
My GPA was 3.85, and I was in a Thai school. So my school is an English program, but I was in the science and math department.
I graduated with a 3.98 GPA on a 4.0 grading scale. Throughout high school, I did the Thai curriculum, and I'm on the math and science track. So I'm mandated to take 2 math classes and 3 sector science, i.e. physics, chemistry, and biology. Beyond that, I took PE, Thai dance, Thai history, health, and English, and some more classes.
So I took the IB diploma program at International School Bangkok. My GPA was a 6.81 out of 7.0 unweighted GPA, and my predicted grade for the IB diploma, it's out of 45. I had a 44. In terms of classes, usually the IB requires you to take 3 higher level classes and 3 standard level classes. However, I took 4 higher level classes, including economics, math, chemistry, and biology, and my standard level classes were Thai and English.
So for my GPA, our school doesn't actually have GPAs, but we have like the IB system. So I guess my GPA is my IB score. So my predicted IB score was 45 out of 45. And I was also predicted an A star for further math in A levels further math. For classes, I took higher level math, higher level physics, higher level computer science, higher level economics. I took standard level Thai language and literature, standard level English language and literature. And as I said, I also took A levels further math.
At NIST, everything is IB diploma, so we don't have a GPA. We have a score out of 45. I was predicted a 43. I got an actual 44 in the real one. It was predicted though, because the IB didn't know what to do. I took further math for IB and physics HL, econ HL, comp sci HL, and then for the languages I took 2 SLs, which is English Language Lit and Mandarin ab initio.
So actually, for my GPA, I don't actually have a GPA, but I did an A-level curriculum. So the 4 A-levels I did were basically maths, further maths, psychology, and economics.
British international school, and in the British system they don't award GPAs, so I don't actually know what my GPA is, but if it helps, for my GCSEs, which is a set of exams that you take in year 10 and year 11, I was awarded 12 A stars, and for my A levels, which I have not I can't take because of COVID, but I will get my results soon, I was predicted for A stars.
How was your SAT and or ACT? My SAT is 1510. My super score ACT is 34. Personally, I prefer the ACT way more, probably because of the science section, but generally, I just felt like the ACT is more for me.
For my SAT score, I got 1550.
I have a super score of 1540, 800 in math, and 740 in English. Do note though that I applied to Cornell with a 1490, so I am pretty confident that my score did not get me in. It wasn't my score that did it.
My SAT scores, I took it 3 times. I sent the best one and it was 1510. I got an 800 in math and 710 in reading and writing.
Yeah, so for my SAT, by the way, I only did the SAT, so I got a 1550 for the SAT.
I kind of prefer the SAT. I actually scored 1520 on the SAT, but only 33 on the ACT. So when you compare SAT, it seems to be better.
Yeah, so for my SAT, I actually got a perfect score, 1600. And yeah, I didn't do the ACT because I enjoyed the SAT a lot more.
I took the SAT, I got a 1480. So breakdown is 800 math and 680 English.
Did you take any SAT subjects? How was it? Do you recommend it? Initially, I planned to take 2 SAT subjects, Math Level 2 and Physics. I got 780 for math and then 750 for physics. But during the exam, I kind of panicked. So I decided to take literature as well. I got owned by it though.
I took 4 SAT subjects, physics, math 2, chemistry and biology. And I got 800 in all 4 of them. As for if I recommend it, I'm not sure if the school requires it or does the school even look at it. But I guess if you have time, taking it wouldn't be a real problem for you.
I did take 2 subject tests, math and physics, both of which I scored an 800 on.
I took 2 SAT subject tests. I sent both. However, they were not very good. I sent SAT math and SAT chemistry. I got a 790 for math, math 2, and I got a 710 for chemistry. I didn't tutor though.
Yes, so I got a 800 for both the math 2 and the physics subject tests. And as for do I recommend it, I would strongly recommend taking the subject tests. Even though some schools say they're optional, especially now with COVID-19 happening, it's definitely, a lot of schools are going to say it's optional. Even though it's optional, I think it's a really good way to demonstrate an interest and a passion for a subject, because the subject test, obviously it still requires quite a deep understanding of the subject. So being able to show that off alongside the IB or AP or whatever you do is going to be really helpful in demonstrating that extra level and depth of understanding.
Oh yeah, I did take the SAT subjects. I got an 800 on math and physics. So math was math level 2.
I actually took 3 SAT subjects. I don't know why. Actually, I think there's requirements for you to take 3 to apply to some colleges. And I did math 2, I did chemistry and physics. For math 2, I got 800. Physics, I got 800. Chem, I got 790.
Subject test, I took 3. So I took math 2, Chinese, and physics. So for math 2 and Chinese, I got 800, and for physics, I got 760. I would definitely recommend for people to take it. I understand that under certain financial circumstances, it will be more difficult to take those subjects. But if you can afford it, I would definitely recommend people to take it because it shows that you have a certain aptitude in like sort of managing more things, in the sense that you're able to do those extra things outside of class. And if you're able to do like a subject that you don't normally take at school. So for instance, like I don't take Chinese and physics at school. And I would say that I scored pretty decently in them. I guess it just proves that you are, competent in other things as well, which is always a bonus to your application.
What were your extracurricular activities? My extracurricular activity revolved around debating, photography, and technology. I have been debating since grade 7 and have been to many national and international tournaments. On top of that, I also show leadership skill in debating through being the vice president for 4 or 5 years before becoming the president in grade 12. Similar things happen with photography as well. I have been photographing since I was a child and becoming the school photography club president in grade 10. Additionally, I mentioned some science project that I was the data analyst and a coder for. I also put in other random stuff like being the student council vice president and being on a tennis team.
For my extracurriculars, I did 2 research. So it's on dust masks and the other one is on biofuels. I also did a few volunteering services and 2 internships at Mahidol University and a food company.
My extracurricular activities were student government. I was student council president. I did robotics and coding. I also did plastic modeling, which is, I would say, quite unique because I don't think a lot of people do that.
So I do quite a lot, and I think these are the reasons why I actually got accepted. Mainly, my main focus would be service activities. So I lead the English Service Project at school, which is basically a project where we teach English to the guards and local Thai staff in the international school community 3 times a week. And that has been my, biggest commitment throughout the past 3 years, because after school during lunch, I would, bring together students and we teach over 70 staff who are Thai. And we aim to break down the language barrier in our international community, because we truly see that it's a problem that, Thai staff can't really communicate to international students and staff in our school. And in addition to that, I lead the Habitat for Humanity Club in ISB as well, which we work directly with the Habitat for Humanity Thailand, and we raise funds and we built over 10 builds over the past 3 years, and each build costs around 100 to 200,000 baht. So we try to contact sponsors and raise funds for those. And in addition to that, my main involvements are also Technology Council. So I am basically the leader of the Technology Council at school, one of the founding members, and I founded the International Inter-School Technology Conference, which is basically a conference where we bring international school kids to be exposed to different tech events and competitions, for example, coding, UI, UX, and we bring in guest speakers to help out and to help students explore their interest in the technological field. And I also worked as a research assistant for an economics professor at Chulalongkorn University over the summer of my junior year. I reached out to her and asked if I could intern. So I worked on the project of the Thai Health Foundation, where I evaluated the policies implemented by the Thai Health Foundation, which they primarily focuses on preventative measures of healthcare in Thailand and how that universal healthcare has helped the rural communities, which also ties in with the extended essay that I wrote for my IB diploma program, which is basically a 4,000 word thesis where I focused directly on the universal healthcare policies in Thailand, and I went to Kanchanaburi to collect data there as well. And I also do Modern United Nations at school. So I represented the school and participated in international conferences. I went to Malaysia to represent the school as well. And I was awarded Best Delegate for my Bangkok MEN conference. And then one of the last few things is that I also conduct chemistry research. So I published a paper in the International Scholastic Journal where I worked collaboratively with KVIS, which is also a school in Thailand, which focuses on science and STEM. So we worked on a research paper on vitamin C levels in guavas and pickled guavas, and we conducted trials and we wrote and published our paper as well. And that's quite a few extracurricular activities that I've done, and they're very diverse, but my essays were mainly focusing on service opportunities that I've received and how that directly links to my research in the economic areas in Thailand.
Okay, so I did quite a few extracurricular activities. I'd say the main ones that really helped me stand out were the entrepreneurial extracurricular activities in which I founded my own startup. So that ranged from everything from design, engineering, and innovation to LGBTQ plus digital freedom, to also artificial intelligence research, and also a company on educational policy making and inclusion policies as well. So yeah, so I did quite a few. I'll just explain briefly about some of those startups that I was proud of. So the one on design, engineering, innovation, I founded a firm called the Origami Engineering Society. And what we did was we invent and we patent original mechanical and electrical engineering solutions based on origami. So growing up, I've always been very interested in origami, like paper folding. And after a lab experience that I had at the University of Pennsylvania robotics lab, I learned about how origami can be applied to real world engineering solutions and mechanisms as well. So with that being said, I invented a collapsible plastic water bottle. Also, I invented an interlocking can and lid mechanism. And I also patented that at the Ministry of Commerce in Thailand as well. So I was able to get a patent for that. And I also won some design awards for those designs that I came up with as well. Something else that's quite similar to that was a company called Provision that I founded, which is basically it's both a charity and also a mechanical engineering firm. So what we did was we used origami as a way of helping blind children visualize geometry. So blind children have quite a tough time learning mathematics because some of the mathematics, like geometry, requires a lot of visualization. So I essentially built a mathematical visualizer using origami. So it was through origami that we created like a touch-based mechanism that we used and integrated into the Thai schools for the blind as well. Something else I did was I also founded a global LGBTQ plus support chat network where I also initiated some research on homophobia recognition, artificial intelligence software as well. So after developing that, I also worked with the UN on integrating that into various global LGBTQ plus support networks around the world as well. Yeah, so those were kind of the main entrepreneurial activities that I did. I also did quite a bit of music, philosophy, theater, and acting. And also I was the president of a club at school, which dealt with anti-human trafficking. And I also was part of the student government as well. So yeah, those were the main activities that I did and put down in my Common App.
So mainly it was computing Olympiads, so IOI qualification camps. I also was involved in a project with the Ministry of Education for renovating a programming education platform that they have. I was also involved in numerous other competitions in computer science, but also I was involved in music quite heavily. So I am an opera singer and I play the piano. So both of those are done at a competitive level.
For extracurricular activities, I think I did quite a lot. So I'm just going to say that I did a lot of service-oriented projects. So just to give a bit of a context. So I come from a family that treks a lot. So we spent the majority of our childhoods kind of trekking the mountains of Thailand. And so from a very young age, I recognized that there was this big problem about hill tribers and the fact that a lot of people who want to do good in Bangkok mainly stay in Bangkok. So I tried to kind of create this small organization which kind of distributes medical sets to people in hill tribe villages and people who are in areas that are very hard to access. I had learned of a lot of really kind of heartbreaking stories because a lot of people die on the journey to hospitals. And so I found that very kind of hard to believe, especially as I was a child. And so death was something that I didn't really understand. And so it started off as me taking a bunch of medicine in a plastic bag and going up there, and they rejected it obviously because they didn't know what medication it was. And over time, with the help of my 3 siblings, we created this we manufactured a pouch or a medicine box and a medicine set, and we go on trips on foot and we personally install it in each village. And it's gotten pretty big. It's called the Jungle Box Project. If you want to search it up, you can follow it on Instagram or Facebook. But yeah, so we've done quite a lot, and we've actually collaborated with UNESCO as well and some other organizations. So that's pretty cool. there are so many things. Like, I'm not trying to try to toot my own horn, but I did a lot of service activities. I did also Project Pink, which was basically a project I came up with in Chinese class because I didn't want to do Chinese. But it was I've been donating my hair for cancer patients ever since I was a child. And so I know a lot of girls who want to do it, but they like to hide behind long hair because especially in Thailand, it's something that is very comfortable. Girls feel it's very easy to have long hair and it makes you look good. So I kind of created this project with 3 of my other friends and my sister actually. And we kind of encouraged girls from all over the world and guys as well if they wanted to donate their hair for cancer patients. And since basically we'd never really seen a corporation or an organization in Thailand that takes the funds and actually creates the wigs, what they mainly do is they only encourage people to donate their hair. So we identified a clear problem with there's so much hair but no one's turning those into wigs. And so we decided to be one of the first clubs who would do that. And so we partnered with the National Cancer Institute to create to take their funds and raise funds and also manufacture wigs for cancer patients.
So list the top 5 in my Common App. So the first one I wrote about was my organization called Hub for Change, which is a organization that aims to increase the accessibility of sanitary products for women around Thailand. That was something that I worked on for a couple years. So that was the first thing I wrote on my Common App. The second thing I mentioned in my Common App was my current organization called Unshackled, which aims to raise awareness for domestic violence in Thailand. And we just do a bunch of stuff like fundraising and next month we're hoping to visit certain sort of rural areas in Thailand and try to figure out a curriculum that involves more sort of gender equal type teaching into their lessons. And what else did I write about? Oh, I also wrote about this summer program that I went to. It's called the Telluride Association Summer Program. And it's not very well known around the world, but I know that it is really prestigious in the United States just because of how hard it is to get into. And it's just a humanities-based summer program. And it's just really, really fun and intellectually challenging and rewarding. So I wrote about that. And what else did I write about? Oh, I wrote about, I also debated at school. So, I debated for the Thai national team in 2018. I wrote about that. And I also wrote about, so I wrote for this group called the Oxbridge Human Rights Development Group. And I basically wrote research papers for them that were sent to the UNHCR for the work that they do, basically. Yeah.
What was your main honors or awards? My honors and award I put into my Common Apps are being champion of Thailand School Debating Championship, and I kind of squeezed in grand finalist for another tournament into the same line. Secondly, I put in exemplary student award and tuition scholarship. So those are school level achievements. Thirdly, I put in quarterfinalist for Hot Wave National Music Award to show my music side other than just the academic debate side. Fourthly, I put in international high school semi-finalist for Thailand Debate Open. So that's an international level debate tournament. That's why I decided to split it out. And then fifth, I put in certificate of distinction for Australian math competition.
I put academic scholarship as the first one, and there's also the Australian math competition. And I also put best supporting character and Rashda, a musical theater here in Bangkok.
In grade 11, I was awarded the highest GPA of my class. And I think in grade 9, I was awarded the 3rd place nationally for a model competition, a plastic modeling competition.
So I put in the East Asia Regional Council of Overseas Schools Award, Global Citizenship Award. It's basically Ear Coast Global Citizenship Award, where I was awarded the recipient of 2019 Global Citizenship Award, which is basically related to the service I do. And that was probably my largest event, award during that time when I applied early decision. And my second award would be the Best Delegate Award that I got from MUN. And third award would be also Outstanding Leadership and Service Award that I received. Fourth award would be the International Honor Society, where I was conducted into since sophomore year. And the last one would be Service Awards, where I also received a lot of service awards from Habitat for Humanity and in the service project as well. So as you can see, like my awards are mostly involved in the service area because my time was mostly dedicated towards that area. And I wanted to emphasize the fact that that's something that I value the most, even though I am involved in other stuff as well.
So the main honor that I was really proud of was when I came first place at the World Mathematics Championships in 2018. I also included several of the innovation and startup competitions that I've been to. So, for example, the UNDP National Entrepreneurship Dialogue, the UNDP National Entrepreneurship Summit, which happened this year. I also won the Trinity College London Talented Artist of the Year in 2020. Oh, I also got top in Thailand for IGCSE literature as well. So I believe that was the other one that I took down. But yeah, those are the awards.
Okay, so my highlights was being a gold medalist in the National Olympiad in Informatics. I got second place in an open coding competition hosted by one of the biggest banks in Thailand. It's Kasikorn Bank. So I was one of the only high school teams among the 3 national winners from thousands of applicants, regardless of age. I also got the highest national score on, I don't know if you know, Yamaha's second highest international qualification in music teaching. I won the first prize in the New York Golden Classical Music Awards, hosted at Carnegie Hall. I also did American Prodigy, piano and strings competition, got second prize there too.
So actually, I in year 12, which is I think grade 11, I actually got the National Outstanding Youth Award for the Jungle Box project. And so that was pretty cool. We actually had to set up a stand, and we got to present our project to the royal representative. So that was pretty cool. But I also did basically for Cambridge A-levels and IGCSE, I got a lot of top awards. So I got top in the world for math, top in Thailand for physics, top in Thailand for psychology, I think, and top in Thailand for Chinese. So I feel you can kind of tell that I'm a big all-rounder. I love every single subject, and I try my best at everything. But yeah, I think those are my main ones. And I also did a John Locke essay competition, which is what's it called? Cooperation between Princeton and Oxford. And I got a commendation for my economics essay.
Okay, so first thing, right, is I won the Thailand Debate Open in 2018, and I got the best high school speaker at ICUT 2019, which is a debate tournament in Tokyo. And I wrote about singing awards that I got. I kind of just cramped them into one spot. I just listed all my singing awards, but they were basically just first place awards at international competitions around the world. And then I also got language awards. So when I took my GCSEs back in year 11, I scored the highest score in Thailand for Chinese, and I scored the highest score in Asia for French. So I got 2 awards for that. And I also wrote about, I got a literature award in year 9. It was a competition out of 3,000 people, and I got 4th place, I think. Oh, it was World Scholars Cup. You did it. Yeah, I came 4th for that. That's about it. Oh, and math awards. I wrote about math awards as well, and kind of just crammed it all into one.
What do you think was your X factor that helped you get into your dream school? After applying to so many colleges and trying to rationalize my wait list and denial, I feel the reason I got into Columbia is how my character is in line with Columbia. This is just my guess, but I feel school will have a picture of what their students is kind of like. I just happen to reflect the Columbia character with my diversity in academics and activities compared to the core curriculum, which might be justifiable when I got deferred at first, then submit more activity as an update, and got in during the regular round.
For the X factor, I don't really know, so I can't really say for certain, but what my guess is that I probably resemble someone they want, as in the character they want for their school. Because I have a belief, it's a belief, so I don't really know if it's true or not, but I feel each school requires, or not require, wants a certain type of individual. So that's how they take it, depending on the school. So I think there's always a school for everyone.
I don't know if this is particularly true, but when I did research on Cornell University, I personally don't feel the maker culture is strong. And so I have a maker background and robotics background. And in a way, it might be a double-edged sword to apply to Cornell because they might just not be interested in this type of student, but it also implies that they don't have a lot of students like that. That's why I chose Cornell. And it also has a very high-ranking civil engineering school, which is my prospective major.
I think it's quite obvious throughout my extracurricular activities and also like awards that service is probably the main thing that I think got me into Penn. I think because of my essay as well, like my essay was mainly focusing on the service aspect and the aspect where I tied in why it's important. Also, I forgot to mention one thing. I was a TEDx speaker as well for my extracurricular activities. And I think that's one of the big things that I did because my talk also focused on the benefits of service and community service in general. So I think it really shows that I really care about the issue and care about the involvement with the community and how we can tackle those issues. So I think like because of my focus being service and my focus being my passion to resolve social issues in our community, whether it be through like hands-on learning or academic research, I still try to focus on like how do we, resolve those issues effectively. And because of those reasons, I think that's why like I was accepted or, that's what I think was the main factor.
Honestly, I still haven't really figured out exactly what my X factor was. If I were to pinpoint it to something, I would probably say it was the way that I meshed engineering and innovation with like social activism. I believe that I did a lot of things which were pretty like impressive in terms of like the technology and innovation, but at the same time I also combined that with my desire to improve the lives of marginalized communities. So for example, those who are visually impaired, those who are LGBTQI. So by merging these things together, I believe I essentially created like a very kind of unique vision of how I saw things and how I solved problems. Yeah, so I think by being like a social entrepreneur and activist, I think I was able to to stand out in the admissions process.
So my admission officer actually told me what it was, which was my mention of SLORC, which is like the Stanford Laptop Orchestra. So it's like the intersection of my two strengths, music and CS. And so I was suggesting that I would be kind of writing new choir sort of compositions from the laptop keyboard itself and live performing that.
I'd say like maybe my X factor was the fact that I kind of didn't try, but naturally I found all of my extracurriculars kind of gravitating towards one main focus, which was helping Hill Tribe villagers and also refugees. So I not only did the Jungle Box project, I also did another project which is called Halfway Home. And inside that project, there are many tiny projects. So there's a project called Water Nest, which I and my brother designed these water filtration systems, and we got them funded by UNESCO, and then we donated them to a lot of Hill Tribe villages because they don't have clean water. And also I did a research paper on Hill Tribe villagers and mainly refugees. And that was kind of inspired by a course I took. It was called an MIT MicroMasters course, which is a graduate level course about development economics. And I found that super interesting, especially since during my visits to northern Thailand and along the border, I found a lot of really tragic stories. So in particular, one story was basically these refugee camps had so little money to spend on people helping them get better, not be as sick as they are. So what they would do is if in a day they get 2 people who are sick and they have to send one of them to the hospital, what they would do is they would kind of compute the monetary value of your life. So for example, they would bring these 2 people together and they would base your value off of your gender, how productive you are. And it's not something that's widely known, but I found that as something that was very shocking. And so I tried to find a way to empirically and theoretically stop that from happening. And I found the answer in development economics and taking that course. And so that kind of prompted me to do more research on that area and try to kind of come up with policies that aren't based around kind of politics. I feel especially in Thailand, a lot of the policies we see are not fully well-intentioned. And I kind of want to be one of the policymakers who aren't kind of swayed by political motives or things like that. I feel that is in need in Thailand. And that's something that really inspired me. I think my X factor was pretty much the fact that I did everything like surrounding development economics and how I tried to use my knowledge of that area to better the world in some way. Because a lot of my projects, like when I was proposing them to UNESCO and like these big organizations, they didn't really see how important it was until I learned how to use like data and combined like the data to like convey a deep message to them. And I used that in like my project proposals, and it got a lot of like recognition. So yeah.
X factor for me was definitely the community service and like the activism work that I was doing. I know that for a fact because I got a note for my admissions officer, who basically told me like why I got in, and she just said, "Wow, like all this charity stuff that you do in Thailand is so cool, and you seem so passionate, and this is why we wanted you at Stanford." So yeah, I know for a fact that it was this, but I think that just to like elaborate on it, I think that I did show a lot of passion in my application because it is something that I've done for a really, really long time. Like I started in year 10, which is like 4 years ago, basically. And it was like it was something that was really small that I started, which was teaching English at a girls' school. And basically from those experiences of like interacting with more like underprivileged girls, like I learned a lot more about like the issues that they were facing. And as a result, like I felt really motivated to do something to help them. And it started with like helping those girls, and it sort of like expanded into something much bigger and sort of more like nationwide and sort of wanting to help like everyone in Thailand. So yeah, I think that was the thing that got me into Stanford.
What do you think about your essays now that it helped you get into your dream school? Is it a relief now? I think my essays are quite reflective of holistic me, but at the same time, each essay is quite detailed within itself. What I mean is that each essay go into quite detail of one side of me. For example, for creativity prompts, the essay will either be about photography or music, omitting the debate part entirely. The same goes for the main Common App essay, that is about the intersection of social science through debating and computer science through passion in technology, that omit the creativity, that omit my other activity. Regardless, I'm very happy that they are over with.
Now that it's over, I would say one of my regrets is not daring to write like an essay that I felt I would be proud of. Like I wrote an essay that is safe for schools. Didn't write anything like weird or like out there, you know. So one of my regrets is maybe I should have written something that's like really creative or really like different. But yeah, that's one of my regrets after finishing.
In my supplemental essays, for all the why Cornell, why University of Michigan questions, I wrote about my family business and how it directly applies to the major I'm applying to, and it sets a very clear goal on what I want to do for the next 4 years. Now, for the common application, I wrote about a triumphant journey on creating this plastic recycling machine thing that is a unique take on solving global warming.
I mean, I think it's quite a relief now that I was accepted, and I think like it actually shows that you have to be truly honest about it. Like, I think at first, right, I was very nervous to be vulnerable. Like, I think not a lot of people, wanted to show like the weakness, your own weakness to the admission committee, right? Because sometimes like we're too afraid to be ourselves or to truly be honest about the incidents that happened in our life, right? But I think after getting accepted, it really shows that being like completely honest and vulnerable, like being able to show yourself and who you really are through your Common App essay, it really helps, because I've written like so many drafts for my Common App essay, right? And the draft that I submitted was the draft that I was being truly honest about the stuff that happened and, my involvement in community service and what I learned and, overcame. So I feel like focusing on the struggles you faced and focusing on, your own weakness and how you overcome and become better really, really helps. And I think like it's a relief to see that, that actually paid off. Yeah.
Yeah, I am so proud of my essay. Honestly, like, this sounds so conceited, but I really, really enjoyed writing my essay. I spent the entire summer of 2019, I spent coming up with my essay and designing it. Like, I think something about essay, it's not something to be written per se, it's something to be designed. And I felt really, really proud of it. So I can tell you a bit about my essay. So my essay, I wrote about being a drag queen. And I wrote about how by being a drag queen, I learned more about quantum physics and how learning about quantum physics helped me to embody being a drag queen. So I talked about how the evolution of classical physics towards modern day quantum physics was representative of the evolution of gender and how it was going from a gender binary to a gender spectrum. And I was able to link like the two things, so physics and gender. And yeah, looking back, I'm so proud of it, of having written it. And like, yeah, it's still one of the pieces that I've written that I'm most proud of. So yeah, that's for my comment essay.
My essays, I think I'm actually kind of proud of my essays, not gonna lie, because I think they were pretty well diversified and it showed every single part of me, more or less. I think my favorite one was my Culminat, which was about being ordained as a monk and how that changed my view on religion, being a CS nerd and like a music. It's like a pretty typical Asian sort of profile, but when you add that element of social awareness, I think it makes the profile all the more strong. Like that's more or less what I think is the gist of it.
I think for sure it was a relief that I got them done, just because like during that period of time, I did nothing but write essays. Like I woke up, wrote essays, came back home, wrote essays. I dreamt about essays at one point. But I think like one specific essay that really helped me was the specific one. So I got to Penn, and my brother is actually a student at Penn already. He was a freshman, and I got to visit Penn. And I think one of my stories was really heartwarming. It was basically talking about my experience at Penn. And pretty much to summarize it, I was sitting in like this library, and I was sitting like in front of this Penn guy. And my friend really wanted to see a picture of the Penn library. So I like took out my phone, I took a picture, including him, the guy sitting in front of me. And then I airdropped it to my computer because I had Line on my computer and it somehow wasn't working on my phone. And so when I airdropped it to my computer, I accidentally airdropped it to him. And then he said, thank you for the photo. And then after that, I had like a really, really good conversation with him about Penn, about like the party life, about social activities, about the internship opportunities available. And also like, he also talked about like, there's like a smell, like a vomit smell, because like when it gets to a certain season, like there's like a plant that like comes up in Penn. But it was like, I think it was very heartwarming because there were a lot of really good stories that I got to learn from him. And I think it overall made me really like Penn. And I think the most important thing when it comes to essays, especially why college essays, is to build a personal connection with that college rather than simply say, this college provides this course and that course, and I think I would be a great fit because I like the surrounding area. Try to build like a personal connection with that place. Try to find something that really, really excites you about that place. I
think I really liked my essays. Like I thought a lot of my essays really showed a lot of like intellectual thought and character. And I think that as much as like a lot of the charity work that I do does show like intellectual thought and character and like a lot of qualities, I think that there are like a lot of other sides to me that aren't shown in those like projects as well. So I thought the essays was a really, really good opportunity for me to display those qualities.
What are your plans for fall 2020? And maybe how did you come to that decision?
So Columbia put their deferral deadline on mid-May, around that time, at which point I'm still quite optimistic because I really want to go as well. But later on, they announced that if students don't want to study this term, they have to reapply, which is so not happening for me. So I'm studying online this semester.
I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything related to the university I'm in for this fall because I took a gap year due to the COVID situation. So currently I applied for an internship in one place and I'm going to go apply for another one soon. So I'm trying to make this gap year like the most valuable experience I can make out of it. Why did I defer? I don't like the fact that I have to take online classes. First thing is I don't like the time zone difference. And the other one is I wish I could get human contact in university. That's one of the things I really wanted when I applied abroad. Mm-hmm. I felt like I want to know Western culture. I want to get like some sort of integration into the Western system. But then due to COVID situation and the online classes, I felt like that was not enough, and I could waste another year because I'm not that old comparatively to other people in my age. In my year.
I just made a decision yesterday that I am taking a gap year. I will be spending time helping my parents with their business, with their construction business, and exploring my personal interest and taking it on, improving on them and learning new things.
So I deferred my admission to class of 2025, so I'll be joining the class next fall. So currently I applied for a few internships opportunities. Mainly I was accepted to an internship at the Office of National Economic and Social Development Council in Thailand. However, I'm waiting for another internship, which is a venture capital internship. It's the company is called Disrupt Technology Venture, and what they do is that they fund startup companies related to education and technology. So, which you can see that I'm very passionate about service, also tech, because I organize tech conferences. I feel like if I were to be selected as their trainee or intern, it really helps me understand the aspect of how do I effectively combine those two areas, and how do businesses actually look at these fields, right? And I think being at Penn itself, having the business school like in the back and always having access to those resources, I think an opportunity for me to intern in those kind of business related field would really help when I'm at Penn and would further enhance my learning when I'm there.
Yeah, so my plan for fall 2020 is to enroll at Harvard. Hopefully in person. I haven't heard back as of today, 3rd of July. I have not heard back from them yet about their plans. I'm hoping it's in person. So I think that I am going to concentrate in computer science, neuroscience, and or biomedical engineering. Like so far, those have been the things that have captured my interest the most. I could totally be an art history major 2 years from now. I have no idea. So I'm really excited and open to just explore lots of different pathways.
Yeah, so I'm gap yearing. My plans are to intern at an AI consultant company here in Bangkok. I just figured that it wouldn't really be worth paying $84K in tuition for an online subscription service. And it's also too early to go because there isn't the option to go to Stanford in the fall, but why risk it? So if I have better things to do here, then all the better.
I'm hoping to go back to Penn just because campus life is so fun. I was there to send my brother off to his life at Penn, and it was so exciting. I felt so excited. So I feel like I really want to be on campus. I haven't even gotten my I-20 yet. So it's yeah. So I haven't gotten my I-20 yet. I don't know why. There's a problem with Penn. My friend also hasn't gotten his from Penn. But I'm hoping for the best. I hope I can get back on campus, especially since Penn has a hybrid system where we take half online, not half online, but some online and some in person.
I do online classes. I'm going to sit in front of my computer and I'm going to do classes in the evening because that's the morning in Palo Alto, and then once it reaches morning in Thailand, I will go to bed and I will wake up again to do classes. That is my plan for fall 2020.
Last question. Where could people go to follow you if they want to know more about you or ask you any questions? As with previous video, I read every comment and respond to all of the questions in the comments below. So you can just leave some there. But if you want a quicker response, you can always DM me on Instagram at Nirutti Time. That's NIRUTTITIME.
Instagram. That's the only place I'm on. I will be on somewhere else later, but not just for now. Just text me or message, DM me. That's what they call it, right? Yeah. DM me on Instagram. My Instagram is going to be right here. It says Tawan Panwa, TAWANPANWA.
If there are any questions about me, you can DM me on Instagram at ktw.champ. And I've recently started a YouTube channel, which I will start uploading pretty soon. There will be videos on my application journey, a more thorough, in-depth analysis, and videos about robotics. So be sure to get subscribed and stay on the lookout for that.
So you can follow me on my Instagram at Naenae_Montawan, if you can put it there. And if you are interested in following my Inter-School Technology Conference, you can also follow us at ISTC_TH on Instagram as well. So yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have regarding how to apply to Penn or like what to do during a gap year. And if you're interested in learning more about Penn and learning more about how to make a gap year decision, feel free to reach out.
I would love to answer questions. So if you have any, please ask me. I'm very happy to help. So my Instagram is here. And yeah, that's where you can contact me.
You can hop over to my Instagram, which is SZAWINIS. It's like Zawinis. I don't know. I have no clue why I chose that as my username, but yeah, it is what it is.
I'm actually private, but Derya Xlocks. You can put that here. I'm gonna let YouTuber stuff, but yeah, follow me if you want to. I'm not gonna force you, but it would be great if you followed or ask me any questions at all.
You can follow me on Instagram. I'm sure Time can put my plug down in the bio section, but it's Karuna, Karuna, X, Taes. Always happy to answer any questions that you have about college. Actually, my organization Unshackled is also doing a college consulting program. It's called the Saerii Initiative, and you can follow us at the Saerii, SERI Initiative on Instagram. And if you have any questions, you can DM us at any time. And we'll always be happy to answer any of your questions. And subscribe to Time. He's a great YouTuber.
That's it for this video. There are interesting conversations that sadly I have to cut out for brevity. Like Karuna talking about her essay, Derya talking about reaching out to big organizations like the UNESCO, and Champ's amazing way of coming up with the deferral decision. So if you're interested, be sure to drop some comment down below. So maybe I will release a extended scene, deleted cut version of this interview. Anyways, thank you for watching the video. I have been working late into the night editing this video in particular, which is kind of a hint at my Asian time zone online learning. So video about that maybe. Drop a like if you like this video and stay subscribed. Hit the bell icon to watch more video, and we'll see you around. Bye.